Shalom, Apostle Tahar coming back at you with this truth, giving all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. I'm going to entitle this video, "And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone." And this is from Revelation 14, verse 10. "The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath." And I may read a couple of verses above this to go more into the context. "The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb." And when it says the holy angels, it's all of the angels. What's the angels? They'll give you a number of angels, like a legion. The Lord referred to the fact that he could take the Roman Empire out with 12 legions of angels. Now, one mighty angel can destroy the earth just by himself. So the Lord was telling the disciples. I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find that. I didn't know I was going to go into it. Bear me for a minute. Okay, I got it. Matthew 26, verse 53. Now, you know what? I might want to go a couple of verses above that. I don't want to go too far up. I just want to keep it in context. Okay, this is when Judas Iscariot portrayed the Lord with a kiss. And now in the ancient world, men kissed each other on the cheek. You see in the Middle East on the news, you see these guys, they'll come up and they'll kiss on the cheek a couple of times from one side to the other side. That's also when you go back, when you watch these different mafia movies, they also kiss because their influences from the old world. The old world is really the Middle East. Anything that's old, as you're putting it side by side with the new. America is considered new, and that term came about when Cristobal Colon came to the other side of the world, and it was known as the New World ever since. So when you go back to Europe, when you go back to the Middle East, when you go back to China, the Chinese dynasties, that's old. That's all old world. That goes back. It could go back 2,000 years, 1,000 years, 3,000 years, or more. Egypt, so-called Egypt, is considered the old world, but Esau refers to Europe as the old world. So that's an old world custom. So when our Lord was on the scene and the Judas Iscariot kissed him on the cheek, that was an old world custom. Anyway, that went into something else. Like I said, when we go into these scriptures, we also going to try to understand history and the way that they lived back in that time. Like we made the statement about the woman being raped. Well, that's an old world custom. See, I would never do no shit like that. You know, that's old world. You know, I wouldn't need locusts. Although the Lord says you can eat locusts, you can eat beetles, grasshoppers. But if I went to somebody's house and said we're having dinner and they set before me some locusts, I'm going to get offended. But now if they say, well, look, it's in the law, but I'm not used to that, you know, there's certain things that we're used to. If you jumped in a time machine and went back to the old world, it would take you a while to get used to or accustomed to that old world. Anyway, coming back into the scripture, you have lessons within lessons. So I gave you a little bit of history on the ancient customs in the old world. And with the 50th verse, Matthew 26 verse 50, and our Lord Yahweh Shai said unto him, friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Yahweh Shai and took him. So they set him up. They wanted him to be identified. So Judas Iscariot was one of his disciples. So he said, okay, when you kiss him, we're going to grab him. And behold, one of them which were with Yahweh Shai stretched out. Now that was Peter, which is the head disciple, the head apostle, and drew his sword. And back then they had swords. Just like Esau in the Midwest, they walk around like the open carry law. Well, the modern day sword is the gun. And struck a servant of the high priest, and that was Malchus, and smote off his ear. So Peter had to use a sword and to cut off a guy's ear. That means you had to be surgical with what you had. That means Peter knew how to use a sword. And plus he was a fisherman. And fishermen, you got to be rough to be a fisherman. Can't be no faggot. Then said Yahweh Shai unto him, put up again thy sword into its place, which is the sheath. You know, like a missile has a silo, well, a sword has a sheath. That's the silo for the sword, so to speak. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Now, you have Israelite groups that go out to gun ranges, which is off. Now, you can say, well, I'm keeping Esau's law, I'm doing it by the books. But you won't see us do that, man. Because when they go to demonize us, they're going to say, you know, all them guys got guns and they're dangerous, and they go to the shooting range. You know? So they use things to try to demonize us. That's why what you're supposed to do is, if you get this truth, and first of all, the Most High is dealing with the prophets, the disciples, the apostles, and whether you know it or not, I don't know if the Old Testament Hebrews teach this. I don't know if they believe that there's a thing called reincarnation, and that has to be brought up. I made a lot of videos on reincarnation, but how many Israelites know about reincarnation? So the ones of us that go out on the highways and the byways, you got guys that do it just to do it. They saw some of our videos, IUIC, ISUPK, HO, whatever. Well, I ain't gonna say HODC because they don't go out. Period. Them guys don't go out. They doing their own thing. You know. But anyway, a lot of these guys that pop up off the scene. I'm gonna get back into the subject. That pop up on the scene. They popped up on the scene because they saw us. When I say us, the Israelites that's on the highways and the byways. So they mimic what we do. Now, whether they're men of the Lord or not, I don't know. But you got some guys that are out there that just go out there just to go out there. They don't even know why they're going out there. It's just like a new fad, a new thing. Anyway, the reason why I go out there, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but the reason why I'm out there and I'm doing videos, because I believe that I'm one of the men of the Lord. I don't know which one. Like they go around, oh, Tahar says he's Paul. I don't know who the hell I am. I hope I'm one of those men. And the men of the Lord that are here now were back there then. So I would have to be somebody. This man was a somebody. Anyway, And based on the fact that I've been doing this thing for 30 plus years, almost 35 years, and I haven't, you know, looked to the left hand or the right hand. I haven't left this thing for a couple of years and came back. I stayed on this course for over 30 years. I've been in this walk before a lot of you guys were even born. You know? So if somebody's into something, if a guy's a mechanic, right? And he's a mechanic for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you know he's not going to stop being a mechanic. He's going to always be a mechanic. You know, hey, look at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd, he started boxing pretty much ever since he can walk or crawl. So that's what, like his father said, that's all the boy knows is boxing. And look what happened with his boxing, man. He became, if not a billionaire, close to a billionaire. So that you ain't gonna box for 10 years, and you on a high level, and all of a sudden, oh, I want to be a soccer player. It doesn't work that way. Soccer players in Brazil, and when they had the World Cup, you have the top. You have Spain, top team, Germany, top team, France, top team, Brazil, top team, certain Latin American countries. What they like Brazil, when you're a little baby boy, they put a soccer ball in your crib and they make you kick it. And then when you're crawling, they put the soccer ball in. When you can walk, you kick the ball. So after doing that for 10 years, that's all they know is soccer. They're not going to say, oh, okay, I want to be a tennis. No. Oh, the Serena sisters. Anything that you in for a number of years and you're good at it, you're going to stay doing it. Like us, like myself. So any of you fucking clowns that come up with some scriptures that you might have woke up to the fact that you're a Christian, you learn 5 scriptures, and you've been in this thing for maybe 6 months, and gonna come up to myself, and maybe I can check. You ain't gonna do it. That includes you, vocab. I've been in this truth longer than you've been in that bullshit. Anyway, let me go back into this thing. Bottom line is, what I'm saying is, if somebody's into something for a number of years, most of the time they're gonna stay in it. All right, and like I said, if I would have to be one of the great men of the Lord, whether it be Paul, Peter. I'm just throwing names out. I'm not saying I'm Peter or Paul. You know, whether I'm Jeremiah, Isaiah, I believe that I am one of those men. Anyway, it said 51st verse. It says, and behold, one of them which were with Yahushua, which is Peter, smote off the ear of Malchus, the high priest's servant. Then said Yahushua unto him, unto Peter, put up again thy sword into his sheath, into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Now Esau, the Roman Empire, took up the sword. They took the world by the sword. America, they took the world by the sword. They took down the Indians because of the gun. And they're gonna go down by the sword. But the sword that they're gonna go down by is the great sword, that's the ICBM missile is the great sword. Let me just check something. Bear with me for a minute. I just want to check something. You can wait. Okay, boy, there's a lot of references to the sword. Anyway, let me go to this one real quick. This is 2nd Ezra 15, verse 41. Let me go to the go to the context. 2 Corinthians 15 verse 39. Okay, and strong wind shall rise from the east. The other day there was over 50 tornadoes that touched ground in the Midwest and killed a number of people. And shall open it, and the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the stars stirred to cause fear toward the east and west. America, you have the east coast and the west coast, and you have the middle. Shall be destroyed. The great 40th verse, 2 Ezra 15 verse 40. The great and mighty cloud shall be puffed up, full of wrath, and the star, that they may make all the earth afraid. So, or tornadoes make you afraid. Hurricanes make you afraid. Storms make you afraid. And them clouds are also the UFOs, the IFOs, the UAPs, the unidentified aerial phenomenon, which now Esau, through his media, is telling the truth about these individuals in the Air Force and the Navy, that they're seeing these UFO sightings, and now they're allowing them to speak on it. They say, okay, if you see it, report it. So now they're speaking on it because there's so many UFO sightings out there. And them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out every high and eminent place and horrible star. So things are not going to get better for you. Donald J. Trump is not going to make America great again. This place is going down. Donald Trump is not above the Most High. It says fire, and I believe Donald Trump will be the president when these missiles are shot off, when Armageddon takes place. I believe strongly that he will be president again, because this Democratic lineup of candidates, they're fucking weak ass cookie cutter candidates. It says fire and hell and flying swords. What do you think it means by flying swords? It's talking about the ICBM and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood and grass of the meadows, and their corn. So this is what these floods, these hurricanes, this hell, this fire, and flying sword shall do. And they what? The fire, the hell, the flying swords, the water, the 42nd verse. And they shall break down the cities, because America's broken up into cities, and walls. This guy Trump is talking about building the wall. He ain't gonna build that wall. And if he builds the wall, he's building the wall so the Most High can take that wall down. Mountains, and mountains meaning governments, hills meaning small governments, trees of the wood, and grass of the meadows, and their corn. Okay, it said trees of the wood and grass of the meadows, right? Now what just came to mind? Let me just bring this over here. Let me go to this right quick. Revelation 7. I'm a little all over the place, but that's okay. Okay, Revelation 7 verse 1. I'll start at 3. I'll start at 2. I'll start at 1, I'm sorry. And after, because there's a lot of meat in the scripture. It says, Revelation 7 verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding. Now, It tells you about the angels in the great river Euphrates in Revelation 9. It also speaks about the angels in the great archangels in Revelation 16. It says, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should, and how the wind represents destruction, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he said, and the reason why when I come across the word God, I say power, because the word God goes back to the Hebrew, which is Allah, which means power. It means power. It means judge, power, mighty, mighty, mighty one. That's why the Lord, when he was on the tree or the cross, he said, Allah ya, Allah ya. He said, Allah ya, my God, or my power, why have thou forsaken me? So he called on Allah, which is another name for Yahweh. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, which includes the grass, greenery, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. I believe that all the servants are sealed. You know, I'm not saying that's a fact, but that's what I believe. There's people, just like in this movie, Brightburn, the young boy, Brian, had to realize his power. And when we go out on the highways and the byways, and we teach His word, people that follow us and that we never even met, they follow us. They put on they get a garment, they put fringes on it. They'll go out and teach, and eventually some of them actually meet us, which is not important whether you meet us or not. You know, we're all going to meet in the skies anyway, if you are truly men of the Lord. And then they just went out. And what example did they use? They used our example. We went out, set up the camp, put the sign up. And we haven't put the sign up because we haven't met with the brothers to meet us, but probably we do it today because we move around a lot. So it's a lot of last minute stuff. But that 12 tribe sign is important. Anyway, they see what we do and they do pretty much the same thing. And then they'll start to understand scriptures. They'll start to go into precepts that we never taught them. And that's showing them that the Spirit is dealing with them. Just like in the movie with the little boy Brian. When he flung that lawnmower and it was going, and something said, put your hand in that like Moses, put your hand in your bosom. It came out. The Most High was making him discover yeah, I'm filming. Call me back. Anyway, he realized his power. Then he started doing little things. He started running real fast. He started doing things, and he was being taught by that ship that he came down in. And with the thing, the Spirit in the ship told him to take the world. So that's us. The saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even in forever and forever. So Esau sees that. He sees that this is the fulfillment of, and I always bring these key scriptures out because they always come to mind. Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, which is one of my favorite scriptures because that's the awakening. See, Esau knew that there was going to be an awakening, just like the pharaohs knew that there was going to be a deliverer, and that's why they killed the little baby boys. It said when you go to during the time of Herod knew that there was going to be a threat, so he said kill the children. We said from 2 and under. It wasn't no girls. He didn't kill no girls, even though it didn't say boys. We knew it was men, because the Most High is only dealing with men as far as setting up deliverers. So Herod knew that through the Spirit. It was a spiritual threat to him. Moses coming on the scene was a spiritual threat to the Egyptians. the Most High always raised up a man and or men, and this time he's raising up 144,000 Moses or Elijahs, and because the scriptures say that we all teach the same thing in the same spirit. You guys that are half-assed, all you camp leaders, you guys that got these half-assed dudes, you should basically get on their ass and eventually kick them out. You know? That's the sifting process. If you ain't on fire, and look, when I came out that movie, Brightburn, it was raining, it was pouring. I ran to my car, and I said I was going to go home and do a video. I said, fuck it. I grabbed the camera, I had the camera with me, and I made the video right there, man. So that's the spirit. You go to a damn movie and see the movie with your girl. It's for entertainment. Man, I look at the meanings of what these movies is all about. And that movie right there showed me a lot. Anyway, it says, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants, and the servants are 144,000. Then you have the multitude with the white robes. Those are Israelites. The rest of the Israelites, the rest of the 1/3, the servants of our power in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. And then it goes into the tribes. So anyway, bear me for a minute. Let me just set this up. Anyway, where was I? I'm a little all over the place. Okay, anyway, the key point, the Lord said, he that taketh the sword shall perish by the sword. So he was telling them that we're spiritual. And it said, the 53rd verse, Matthew 26, thinkest thou that I cannot? Now he's telling you with the power that he has. He's saying, don't worry about it. I'm fulfilling. Peter was getting simple. Thinketh, 53rd verse, thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, which shows you knuckleheads that the Father and the Son are two different persons. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Father and the Son are two different persons. But when you talk to clowns like Vocab Malone, oh no, they're all the same. And this idiot, Dr. James White, the Edomite, somebody asked him a question in some conference, and he said, he brought up the fact that the Lord said in Matthew 24, no one knows the time of the end but the Father. So the guy said, well, if he's a father coming down as a son, I mean, how can he not know? So this clown, Dr. James White, the Edomite, said, how did he say it? That he kind of put a handkerchief over his eyes. So I forget how he said it. He kind of used the power to blind himself so he can't see the end of the world. But they're the same persons. So any of you clowns that follow these wacky, tacky, dumbass, non-scripture knowing Christians, then you're going to perish with them. All Christians will perish. Point blank, period, man. That's why, see, this guy, Dr. Eric Mason, he's smart. We got to say one thing about him. He's smart. He took up the gauntlet to fight against Israel, and now you don't see the nigga no more. Because that shit is weak. We were looking at this nigga's videos like fucking a wolf looking at a wolf or a fox looking at a fucking hen house with the door open. He knew he couldn't deal with us. He knew if he kept coming against us, that he was going to be exposed and he was going to lose members. Anyway, I'm a little all over the place, but that's how it go. If you don't like it, you don't gotta watch my videos no more. You understand? It says, "Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me." What does it mean by presently? Right now. Right now. That he can presently give me more. Not he didn't say 12 legions, he said more than 12 legions of angels. So now let's look up the word legions. And I'm going to get back into torment. Anyway, legions. Let's look up the word legions.
Strong's G 3003. Legion.
Legion. A legion, a body of soldiers, and the Roman Empire took that world by legions. They were cut up into legions. A legion, a body of soldiers whose number differed at different times, and in the time of Augustus seemed to have consisted of 6,826 men. Which is 6,100 foot soldiers and 726 horsemen. So we can round it off to 7,000. I always said 7,000. So if you do the quick math, let's do the quick math. Let's go to 12,000. What is it? 12 times. We'll round it off to 7,000 equals 84,000. So the Lord said he can ask the Father, and the Father will send him 84,000 plus. So that means he had enough, and he said presently. He said he can do it right now. But why didn't he do it? Because he had to fulfill prophecy. That's something that Peter was a simpleton at that time, didn't understand. He understood it afterwards when he got that power, when he realized who he was. That he was one of the apostles, which was one of the great prophets in the past. Okay, so now let's go. And this is how you up your spiritual biblical IQ. When you read the scripture, you click on, what does that word legion mean? What does this word mean? You know, and that's how you up your game, man. And for any of them wacky Christians that come up to you, when you deal with them, they claim you know the scripture. You say you know the scripture. Yeah, I know the whole Bible. My grandmother taught me the Bible when I was a kid. I know the Bible backwards and forwards. So you ask them a question. I said, okay, if you know the whole Bible, what you just said, what does this mean? And what does that mean? And what does that word go to? And what does, you know, you that's a part of strategy, because it's fighting, word fighting. A debate is a word fight. If you have two opposing views and people are going back and forth, that's a debate. And you have two boxes, two boxes fighting each other. A group of y'all say, I'm going for this guy, and another group says that guy. And then you start to debate as to why you think this guy will beat that guy. You know? So everything turns into a discussion. When you have two opposing views, it turns into a debate. It could be a friendly debate. You might bet on it. You know? Anyway, going back, let's deal with this word. Bear with me for a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Let me bring up, here we go. So I read Revelation 14 verse 10. The same. I gotta go back up. Like I said, I'm all over the place, and that's my teaching style. I'll start at 8th verse. Revelation, and this is another chapter, beautiful chapter, Revelation, the 14th chapter. I have to do a breakdown on that, which most of y'all should know. Anyway, it says Revelation 14 verse 8, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, is fallen. And Babylon is not Vatican City, it's not New York City, it's America. Babylon the Great is America. Because that's where this Gadites, they took down the Gadites. They didn't take down the Gadites in New York City. All right? The Gadites, the Reubenites, the Judites, all the tribes are here. You got these people from South America coming up. They're coming up because some of them are part of the 1/3. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city. And the word city means municipality, which means citizenship. A city is as big as its citizens. So if you're a U.S. citizen, you can be a citizen of California, but you're also, if you're also a U.S. citizen, then you're a citizen of U.S., which is Babylon. You can be a citizen of New York City or New York, a New York State, or state of New York, as they say, which is federal, and you're also a state, a citizen of the U.S. or the United States. Anyway, it says so that's the city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of a fornication. Well, wait a minute, for you clowns that teach that Vatican City is Babylon. It said Vatican City didn't make everybody drink of Roman Catholicism. You have Protestant nations. You have Islamic nations. You have nations that follow Buddha. You know, you have the Chinese, the Shinto religion. You know, the Japanese, the Chinese, they have their gods. You have the Baha'i faith. You have all these different religious practices. So how in the hell did, if Babylon is Vatican City for you knuckleheads out there, everybody would be Roman Catholic? Am I correct? What Babylon did, America, they were the one that the democracy was set up by the United States, pushed the world to set up a democracy. You have prime ministers. Every leader that goes to the UN, they're part of the Babylonian system. And you don't see kings going there. You see representatives or the actual presidents actually go there, man. And president, vice president, that's a democratic system. Where did that come from? That came from right here. It didn't come from Europe. It came from right here. It says, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of a fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, and a lot of you guys don't even know what the beast is or who the beast is. And his image is not a picture of Caesar Borgia, you dummy. And receive his mark, and that mark ultimately is, so this is not going to happen. The destruction is not going to happen until the majority of the world takes that mark. And receive his mark, which is the microchip, and in his forehead or in his hand. And all you camps out there that are teaching that the mark of the beast is an embargo in Christianity, you're gonna look stupid. You're gonna be made to look stupid, and you're gonna look at your leaders and you're gonna realize that those guys are not men of the Lord. And I don't know how the scenario is gonna go, but you might want to think about going to Great Millstone, but then you're gonna be ashamed because we're gonna laugh at you. And we're not gonna let you in the circle any goddamn way. So what about that? Deal with that. It says the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without, and that wrath of the Most High is these missiles the lasers coming out of the chariots, this destruction on all sides, out poured out without mixture into the poured out without mixtures, talking about raw. The Most High gonna come at you. He gonna give it to you raw, you know. Into the cup of his indignation, righteous judgment, and he shall be, and his indignation is the Most High's indignation, righteous judgment, because he's going to do it in righteousness, and he shall be tormented. Who shall be tormented? Not one man, but this system. Anybody that's left here in America, you're going to be destroyed if you're not beamed up or not out of here. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Why? Because the Lamb and the holy angels are going to be on top of them, shooting lasers on Esau while these missiles are pelting the earth. It goes on to say in 11th verse, and the smoke of their torment, and that's their torment, the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever. Ever and ever mean a long time. It's going to be a number of years that you're going to see that smoke. Just like when the World Trade Center went down. And we went down there the week after the World Trade, because it was so crowded down there. We waited, I think, about a week, and we drove right past it. And you saw that the metal, that twisted metal, and you saw the smoke come up. And the smoke went up for a good, I don't know exactly how long. It went up for, I believe, months. So when this place is destroyed, the smoke's going to go up for a number of years. It says, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, because the rest of that rest that they're not going to have is talking about they're going to be in slavery, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Now that's not going to apply to the Israelites. It's going to apply to the Edomites and the other nations. It says, 12th verse, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments, the Most High's laws of the Most High, and the faith, which is the rest of the scriptures of Yahushua. And part of the faith is to do this work. Scriptures speak about doing the first, when the angel cursed out the 7 churches of Asia Minor, he said, do the first work. The first work is to go out and teach on the highways and the byways. And then the Most High gave us this gift called the World Wide Web, and we put up videos all during the week, and we teach. Anyway, this is a good chapter. Anyway, let me deal with the word torment. The word torment is from the Greek
Strong's G 928. Basanidzo.
basanidzo. It says to test metals by the touchstone, which is a black siliceous stone used to test the purity of gold. And we're being tormented right now. The fact that we're under Esau, the fact that we want a hardcore slavery, what the Most High was doing to us is testing us, is purifying us. It says test the purity of gold or silver by the color of the streak produced on it by rubbing it with either metal. It says like when you make a sword, you have the sword maker, what do you call that? the smith. You have the smith, and he bends the sword, and he bends the metal, and he bends it, and he puts it under fire, and you see the sparks going, and he's sweating his ass off, and then he shapes the sword, you can't make a sword, you can't produce a sword unless you put it through fire, and then the sword is strong. Well, when you use the sword in battle, the sword will not bend, neither will it break. And these guys that were smiths, they were rich, or they were very well off. That was a trade to be in. The modern day smiths are the scientists, which forged the great sword, which is the ICBM. It says to question by applying torture, to vex with grievous pains of the body or the mind. So we were vexed with grievous pains of the body or the mind, and we are vexing them with grievous pains of the mind to torment. A lot of these Edomites are losing sleep. If you notice, a lot of Edomites have come out and made videos saying that they know that they're Edomites, and they know that the so-called Negroes and West Indian and Puerto Ricans and people of Indian North, Central, and South America of Indian and Negro descent. So you got Edomites basically acknowledging that they're Edomites and that we're the Israelites, because they were tormented in the mind to be harassed. And when we go out there and we speak, we are harassing them. That's why the cops come around and they give us a hard time, or they tell us you can't, because they're being harassed. Distress. It's distressful, man. When you've been taught all your life that everything in heaven was white, so-called white. Jesus was white. The Lord was white. The angels were white. Moses was white. Jeremiah was white. Anytime they make a movie about the Bible, they always crack us up. And they even make the fucking Egyptians white, man. The fuck you gonna make the Egyptians white? The Philistines, they made the Philistines white. The Philistines are Egyptian, you fucking dummies. The Egyptians goes back to Mizraim. So this devil's been living in this bubble of lies all his life, and we're popping the bubble right before him. So that's a form of torture, and we're telling them that they're going into slavery. And those who at sea are struggling with a headwind. So they ain't talking about burning in some goddamn hell like these wacky tacky Christians teach. Which, when you go to the word hell in the Old Testament, the word there is sha'al, which means the grave. If you go to the New Testament, the word that you're gonna come by is either Hades, which is the grave, Gehenna, which is a dump that they took dead animals and garbage and they put in this valley and they burnt it. So the Lord used that Gehenna as a reference to what's going to happen to Esau. Because yet the Lord knew that this place is going to be destroyed by fire. And the scriptures also speak of this place as being a lake of fire. So now, when you go to the word, I'm going to wrap this up. When you go to the word, let me go back to the word torment again. All right, torment. Okay, that word comes up 11 times. It says in, I'll read a couple of scriptures. It says in Matthew 8, verse 6, and saying, "O Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented." So you can be sick, and that's a form of torment. Matthew 14, verse 24, but the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed and with waves, for the wind was contrary. And the word toss is the same word for torment. If you're in a ship and there's, the ship is tossed and turned, you're in torment. You're in fear for your life. You don't know if the ship is going to sink. This is a good one. Mark 5 verse 7. And cried with a loud voice, saying, what have I to do with thee, Yahushai, the Son of the Most High Power? These are the demons talking to the Lord. So the demons knew exactly who the Lord was. I adjure you, thee, by the Most High. And check this out. He said, I adjure thee by the Most High. So even the demons know to call on the name of the Most High. That thou torment me not. I'm going to read a little bit more of this. 8th verse. For he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. He's talking to demons. And he asked him, and by the way, in the book of Acts, I'm not going to read it. I'll probably go into it another time. You had these guys that wanted to expel demons from a man. And they said that they commanded the demons to leave in the name of Yahushai, and which they learned from Paul. They heard Paul, so they went out on their own. And what did the demons do to these guys? They called on the name Yahushai. They mentioned Paul, and what did the demons say? They said Yahushai we know, and Paul we know, but who are you? And basically the demons just jumped on them and beat the hell out of them and beat the clothes off of them. And they ran out naked. And that was the demons that was in that man, because when a demon is in you, you have great strength. Why do you think Tyson was able to knock niggas out? Because he had demons on him. That fact. And he asked him, what is thy name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. And we found out a legion is about 7,000. So this man that was possessed by these demons had great strength, but the Lord himself exorcised all those demons. And we should know about all these stories. Now I'm going to jump down to the 20. I'm at Matthew now, the book of Matthew, which I should have read that. Matthew 8 verse 29. And behold, they cried out, saying, what have we to do with thee, Yahushai, the Son of the Most High Yahweh? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? Now what did these demons mean, or this demon mean when he said, before, how have thou come to torment us before the time? Because these demons had a time to rule, because the Most High Yahweh said, I'm going to let you down, and I'm going to let you, possess people's bodies and do certain things. Which shows you that there was no war in heaven where Satan and the angels fought against Michael and his angels in heaven, and then they were banished out of heaven. That's that stupid, wacky Christian bullshit. The angels are still under the authority of the Most High and under the authority of Yahushai. That's why he was able to exercise 7,000 of them, a whole legion of them. Talking about the power that Yahushua had. The fact that he can call 84,000 angels to destroy the Roman Empire. Thou come hither to torment us before the time. Now wait a minute. How you going to they say torment is being in hell. Well, ain't the demons used to being in hell? Ain't fire cool to them? And they showed you that in the movie Little Nicky. You know? Which that was a crazy ass movie. Everybody should watch that. It was a comedy, but they showed you they show you that Esau knows about the left hand side. So now okay, let me check this one in 2 Peter 2 verse 8. For that righteous man dwelling among them, and this is talking about Lot, which they said he was a righteous man. This is Peter talking. So you might say, well, was Abraham an Israelite? Was Isaac an Israelite? Was Jacob an Israelite? Was Lot an Israelite? Yes, they all came back as Israelites. They were all part of the sons of the righteous. For that righteous man, which is Lot, dwelling among them and seeing and hearing, vexed it tormented him, his righteous soul, from day to day with their unlawful deeds. So the law was already there. See, the Most High just put the law, wrote the law on tablets of stone for Moses. But they already knew the law. They already knew it wasn't right to be a homosexual or lesbian or lay down with a beast. But the Most High brought all the laws together. So the laws are already there. The order was already there. It says, it said that he was vexed. The word for vex is G928, which is torment. So if you watch, if you walk down the street, you see two men holding hands, you're going to be vexed by that. That's a vexation of spirit. That's a torment to you. Revelation 9 verse 5, and to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months, and it wasn't in hell. Torment was the torment of scorpions when he striketh a man. And I was talking about World War I with the dog fighters. Revelation 11 verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, the Israelites, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another. And we were the gifts. We were the gifts. We were being sold from one group of people to another group of people. And you devils are going to pay for that, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. And the two prophets represent something deeper, but I'll say the two prophets represent the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel coming together. And how did we torment them? By what we're doing right, what we did back then as prophets, and what we're especially doing right now. Because the prophets of old, they prophesied against many kingdoms and many nations. But we're prophesying against the whole planet. Revelation 12 verse 2. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. So when a woman goes through the labor pains, that's torment. That's torment. They're cursing. They're telling their husband, F you, you know. Revelation 14 verse 10. The same shall drink of the wine, and I read this, I opened up with this, which is poured out without mixture. That's this destruction, into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Last scripture, Revelation 20 verse 10. And the devil that deceived them, and the devil is talking about the so-called white man, the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. Them was cast into the lake of fire. There wasn't no lake of fire where the angel picked them up and threw them in the lake of fire. It's parabolic talk, and this is why people can't understand this book. They don't know when it's literal, or they don't know when it's parabolic, or whether it's symbolic. or whether it's twofold. It says, cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. And the beast represent NATO and the EU. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom, on to the next one.